All right, my beautiful people, I'm coming at you with a real quick word. So I'm going to need for you to sit still so that you can catch this. Now, this is not a word, thus says the Lord, or a prophetic word. This is a word of opinion, my opinion. I came across some content while strolling on TikTok yesterday. And I mean, it bothered me to the point to where I could not rest. I'm like, Lord, catch me, because what is going on in this world? I'm like, Lord Jesus. I came across this lady's content, and I said, Lord, there are so many women who are following this lady and what she is teaching. Now, let me say this. I do not want to say her name, because I do not want this to be about bashing her and throwing her under the bus. Because I do believe, after watching her and some of her content, I do believe that she has good intentions. It's just that she's missing a lot of key elements. She's focused on the outer appearance versus the inner appearance. It's more so that she's focused towards the alpha woman who wants to level up her game and find love, the perfect 10. One of the things that she said in her content that I want to pull from is, she said, when you do not wear makeup, you fall in one of these categories: the homely look, the maid look, and the all around the way look. Some of the things that she speaks about, I do believe that she's correct. You do have to maintain your appearance. You don't want to just be looking like anything. But there are some women who are comfortable in themselves wearing t-shirts, blue jeans, and tennis shoes. There's nothing wrong with that. Hers is more focused on, the whole nine, which, okay, but it's like so many women are following her and they are missing. Oh, she's missing a key point. Let me say this, and I'm only speaking through experience. Let me say, oh Jesus, I did not want to do this. I did not want to do this video. But I just could not help myself. I'm like, Lord, I got to speak. I have to. When I got married, I met my husband at the age of 18. I met him at the age of 18. Got married later on in the relationship. But one of the things that I realized now, when I look back now, after that marriage had ended, my main motive and my focus was on the outer appearance. I remember telling myself, I'm about to level up. I'm about to get my hair done, my nails done. I'm about to make sure I get my feet done. I'm about to do this, that, and the third. And that's exactly what I did. I got myself together. I furnished my house from top to bottom. I had my kids' wardrobe together. I mean, we was together. But the key thing that was missing was the healing, the inner healing. Because coming out of it, I jumped into another relationship in the process of getting myself together. One place ended of mental abuse and just all kind of toxic stuff, leaving that and jumped right into another one that took me on a ride of my life. One of the things that I want to stress about is this, and I'm gonna say this from my perspective of my experience. When I met my husband, going in the relationship, I did not know who I was, whose I was, where I come from, and where I was trying to go. But in that relationship, I knew within myself that there was always something more. I didn't know what it was, but I just knew that I wasn't, in my mind, I used to tell myself, I know that I'm not just here to be mistreated, mishandled, and to be used. I know that there's more, that the Lord has more for me, and I just didn't know what that was. And in the relationship, my husband was more focused on working a 9 to 5. He was content. He wasn't, he wasn't worried about all of that. But I went in, and in it, I tried to figure out who I was, and it caused a lot of chaos. And I have to stress this. You got to know who you are, whose you are, where you come from, and where you're trying to go before you try to step into any type of relationship, and especially a marriage. Because when you don't know and you step into it, and try to do it, then it's gonna cause chaos. And especially if you unequally yoked, y'all going in two separate directions, it ain't gonna work. Let me say this, and I'm gonna try to take my time. God, please help me with this. What I mean when I say you got to know who you are, whose you are, where you come from, and where you're going. I remember my healing journey. When my healing journey first began is when I started school. When I started college, I mean, it was like the Lord started to take the scales off my eyes, and I began to see things that I didn't see before. You know, I began to see myself. I began to see what I was capable of, because I had always believed that I wasn't worth nothing. You know, after people speaking word curses, and so I had the belief that, you know, but in my heart, even from a little girl, I just knew. The Lord, my healing journey began, you know, started college. I mean, it was like he was putting the pieces of the puzzles together. I began to understand some of the things that happened to me. I mean, everything was falling into place, and everything was coming in perspective. And while on my healing journey, and it's still a process. I mean, you don't heal overnight. I mean, it's a process that it's something that continues. But he began to show me who I was, whose I was. He began to help me to understand, where is it that you come from? And let me explain this. What I mean, where do you come from? And I mean that from a positive perspective. Because when I look on my mother's side, there are writers, there are teachers. I mean, many of the people on my mother's side of the family, college, entrepreneurship. When I dug through my history, these are the things that I found. And when I looked on my father's side is more creative, more, you know, they create colors, and I mean, it was just so unique. Once I realized, I'm like, Lord, now I understand parts of who I am. And I don't say these things to boost. I'm simply just giving you an example. Once I realized where I come from, I'm like, I come from a place of entrepreneurship. Why? Because I never understand, why do I always want to be, why have I always had the feeling of wanting to be, have my own versus punching that clock. So I realized it was where it was coming from, where it stemmed from. And then when I realized, I was like, where is it? The Lord started, it was questions, where is it that you trying to go? What do you want to do with yourself? You know, in order for you to be able to heal, to be able to heal from the inside out, you got to know where it is that you're going. You can't, it's almost like this. Once you begin to know who you are, whose you are, where you come from, and where it is that you're trying to go, people can't dictate where they expect you to be. I'm sorry. You can't come along and tell me where I'm supposed to be, or what you think, or you can't mishandle me how many people mishandle me then. They can't do what they do now. You can try it, but it ain't gonna work. But the enemy is slick. So let me say that. He's slick, but you got to know where it is that you're going. You got to know where it is that you're going. You got to know who you are, whose you are, where you come from. You just do. And that's one of the things that I stress. And a lot of women who want to be married, you got to understand, if you don't have that 3-string cord wrapped around you and your spouse, it's gonna fall apart. Now let me say this. There are people that have been married for 20 and 30 years. But the majority in this day and age, Majority of people are not making it past 2 years. I can remember years ago they used to. I used to hear my older lady used to tell me all the time. She used to say, "If you can't make it past 2 years, you ain't gonna make it." That three-string cord is you, God, and your spouse. Not realizing that oftentimes when you enter into any relationship and even into a marriage, you not just marrying him or her, you marrying into their family. That's another thing that people are not aware. You're not just marrying him, you marrying into this family. And a lot of times what we do, we take the things that are going on in the marriage outside the marriage. But when you got that three-string cord wrapped around you, the Lord's going to teach you, you don't take nothing outside this marriage. You bring it to me. Because they can't fix. Because people are going to have an opinion about this marriage. And it could destroy it. Let me show you something that the enemy doesn't like marriage. He cannot stand it. He does not like it. I'm going to take you to Genesis 2:23. And I'm going to read it down to 25. And it says, "And Adam said, This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man. Therefore a man shall leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife, and they shall become one flesh. And they were both naked, and the man and the wife were not ashamed." When you read this verse, you can see in this verse that was a unity. Bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh, we shall become one and not two. But if you go down to chapter 3, you see where the enemy came right in and divided that unity. And that's exactly what the enemy is doing now. Understand, you have to make sure that you are equally yoked. And a lot of us go into these relationships with people we are unequally yoked with. I stress this all the time. I stress it all the time. The enemy does not want, especially if you and your spouse is working for the kingdom of the Lord, especially if the Lord has called you to. The enemy does not want that unity, especially building for the kingdom of the Lord. But many people focus on the cake and the ceremony and the wedding, but they don't focus on the important key elements in the marriage. They don't focus on that. Marriage is not easy. And I realize that looking back now, I'm like, Lord, it's just, oh my goodness. Many people are, and this lady, I really believe that she has good, but she's focused on the outer appearance. In order for you to have that healthy relationship, healthy marriage, you got to heal. Because you're going to take everything that you took from that last place, all that package and baggage, you're going to take it right into the next relationship of being broken. And let me say this, we all are broken to some extent. We all have brokenness within us, but there is a place of being a healed place. There is a such thing as being healed. I really truly believe it, because and let me say this, I am not perfect. I still fall short of the glory. There's days when I have to preach stuff to my own self. But I truly believe it's true healing. It can happen. It's in me. I feel it. There's days I get down, but it's not like the way that it used to be. I mean, just how I seen myself, the things that I thought about myself, and I still have to catch myself and turn around and preach stuff to myself. I still got to. But in order to be in a healthy relationship and marriage, you got to know who you are, whose you are, where it is that you come from, and where you're trying to go. That's it. And there's more to it, but those are the key elements. And I think we spend so much time focusing on the outer appearance than focusing on what needs to be healed within you, me, within yourself. But I truly believe that it is such a thing as having a good, healthy marriage. There are still some good men out here. Where they at? I don't know. But I truly believe that there are good men. And there's good women for the men that, it's still, I truly believe that. There are some good men out here. But I think when a lot of times we get this mind frame of after being hurt for so many times because we want love, because we was designed to receive and to give love, we can walk away with the mentality that all men are dogs, and we can put them in one category. But you can't do that, because all men are not dogs. Now there are a lot of them, but not all. I'm sorry. I just truly believe that there are still some good men out here. I ain't going to look for them, but and there are a lot of sheep in wool clothing. But in order for you to be able to know the difference, that's another element. You got to have discernment. That's another key element to stepping into a proper, healthy relationship. You got to have discernment. And many don't have it. I didn't have it because I didn't understand it. I didn't know what it was. It wasn't until I began to walk on my journey with the Lord, of the Lord healing me from the inside out. I mean, just showing me stuff. If I was to stand up and tell you everything, we'd be here all day. But that is one of the key elements, as well as having discernment. And many of us don't have it. And so what happens is we fall in these relationships with sheep in wool clothing, because he comes along and tells you everything that you want to hear. And then the longer that you in it, and the layers begin to fall off, then you begin to see someone that you like. What? How did I get myself in this? I found myself at the feet of Jesus, asking the Lord to put me back together after coming out of the last relationship I was in. I'm like, Lord, you got to fix me on this one. This one took a toll on me. I mean, I found myself at the feet of Jesus, asking Lord Heavenly Father, put me back together again. And the messed up thing about it was, even when I would go back to Jesus, I would even find myself sliding right back into that relationship time and time again, and ended up right at the feet of Jesus. But this last time, the Lord sat me down. He said, what is he going to have to do? What is he going to have to do for you to truly walk away? And some of the stuff that the Lord was speaking, some women have been in relationships where they have contracted illnesses that they cannot get rid of. And that's what the Lord brought that to my mind, my thoughts. I'm like, wait a minute. You know what I'm saying? No, I don't want to stay too long. And this man is out there doing this, that, and the other, and then bring me something back that I can't get rid of. And then laying in different places and laying with different women. All of that stuff that you laying down with her, but you bring in all of that stuff that is connected to her. You bringing it in and leaving it off on me. So now I'm not just wearing your mess, but I'm also wearing her mess and the people that are connected to her. I'm wearing their mess, and that stuff is on me. I mean, when I tell you that the Lord, man, he sat me down, I'm like, whoa, it blew my mind. But I realize now that I went through that to become a testimony for women that are going through. And here's my thing, and I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna leave you with this, because I don't want this video to go too long. Is this: I don't really like to tell women, look, leave. I don't, but sometimes I slip. But here's my thing that I will say is this: you got to be sick and tired of being sick and tired of being sick and tired, and then you'll leave. You got to be sick and tired of being mishandled, and eventually you'll leave. And you got to be sick and tired of being abused and used, and eventually You leave. And sometimes it may take 50 million times before you turn around and say, enough is enough. And that's okay. That is okay. I'm a crybaby. I cry over anything. It's okay. And if you find yourself in this place, and even a man, because I don't want this just to be about a woman, even a man, you find yourself in a place where you like, I'm just tired. You have to get to that place of being sick and tired, of being sick and tired, and being sick and tired. And that's okay. There's no judgment on my part. No judgment. But, it is what it is. So, I wish you guys all the best. And I'm going to do more on this topic. Because I think it's very important that we discuss it. But just understand that this video isn't about bashing this young lady. And I want to say her name so bad. But because I want you to be able to get an understanding of where I'm coming from in her content. But I don't think that's important. Because I don't want this to be about hurting this lady and coming against this lady, because it's not what this is about. Because she really does have some valid points in her content. She really does. But this is me. I love you guys, and I promise you will see me the next time around. And listen, if you need prayer, throw it down there in this in the comment section, and I'll make sure that I'll put you on the prayer list. And also, ladies, look in the description, because there's a new journal that I just created. It's not perfect. It's my first journal. The Lord is working with me. I got plenty more journals that are coming. But this is a journal to help you hear the voice of the Lord. Because I prayed about this journal. I prayed when I first created this journal. I'm like, Lord, oh Jesus, just help me. So it's just a line journal, with scriptures. But the other journals that I do have is a prompt journal. The one that I'm creating now is a prompt journal. And there's more things that you can do within the journal. But this is my first one, and listed in the description. So check it out. I tried to make it as reasonable as I could. I think I priced it at, $8.99, something like that. So check it out. Also, ladies, too, there's an event coming December the 7th. Purposeful Journey. I think it's Purposeful Journey. Walking in Your Calling, or something like that. Look in the description. It's got the link. It's in there. So go check it out. And I try to make that as reasonable as I possibly can, because I know that when I was going through and coming across people that I was watching and connecting to on YouTube and TikTok, when I would get to some of their content, I'm like, to buy some of the stuff, I'm like, I can't even afford that. So I'm trying to make it as reasonable as I possibly can. Now, coaching one-on-one, that's a little different. That's going to be a little bit more pricey, because I have to deal with a person 3 months and 6 months, because those are the packages that I have. But I do have hourly packages where you can book when you have the time. So this is me. I love you guys, and I promise you will see me the next time around. God bless.